What's going on, guys? Frankie Forsythe here with another video, and this one is going to be on why women, especially today and you know, in the past, have always been attracted to evil men. And there are multiple reasons for this. Like, you might hear somebody talk about how, a man needs a certain amount of evil or be willing to do a certain amount of evil to protect the family, which is true. And that's what it truly means to be a good man, actually, to have that within you, but, have the temperance and self containment to still be good nevertheless. But this video is going to be talking about something that I've never heard anybody talk about before. And this is definitely one of the reasons why women are attracted to evil men, demons in men, and stuff like this. So, again, it all starts from the energy, and this will start with, the feminine energy in men. When it's increased, which is when we get the anima, which is the feminine, the sexual energy is the yin and yang. This dark dot inside the yang. So the yin and the yang is the anima in men, which is basically the sexual fantasies, and this leads to, when this gets out of control and based on the personality type of the man, this leads to these evil men that have these perverse sexual desires. They have sexual imprints on young girls, and this is why nobody wants to talk about it, because it's kind of a taboo topic, but it happens all the time. Like, I would not surprise me if over 50% of women have been sexually assaulted or sexually sexualized as a young girl. Obviously, like, before puberty, like, even before the age of, like, 16 or 14, like, before that. This happens way more than anybody wants to admit or wants to consider, but this is what happens. So, the evil men, they have this imprint on young girls, this dark energy, this taking energy, which it's in a masculine man's nature to give. It's in a feminine man's nature to just continually take and take and take. And this is what they do. These evil men, they take the innocence of the small girl. And unfortunately, this is very unfortunate, because this was not her this was not her choice. This was not anything she did wrong. This is all on the fault of the evil man, which in my last video I talk about this in the higher societies, how this is constantly going on. But, the evil man takes advantage of the small girl, and she ultimately grows into, an adult girl, but ultimately she's still a immature girl in an adult body, which I wrote here. They remain immature because, I mean, it kind of stunts their growth a little bit. And something I've also noticed is women who are short and very, like, petite, they usually have gone through things like this, because I don't know if that's scientifically correlated. You guys can do your research, but I have noticed that as a pattern, and it would make sense. But they ultimately grow up into a little girl in an adult girl's body, and they are still attracted to the same energy because of this imprint. A woman's first, like, few encounters with, sex and the opposite gender, men, her first few encounters are an imprint on her heart, basically. And unfortunately, this turns into her being attracted to the same dark qualities of men, and this is why you get women who they watch these documentaries on serial killers and rapists and stuff, and some of them might say how they're attractive and might even want to have sex with them, or they're still attracted to that dark energy that imprinted them as a child, which is very unfortunate. But that's what happens, and that's, again, like I went over in about 2 or 3 videos ago. I think it was last week. I went over how the feminine man needs to be eradicated from the society, and this is why they, like I talked about in my last video, you realize that all my videos are connected, all the ideas are connected. It's like kind of my own philosophy, but when you have this overarching yin and yang, they start taking advantage of people. They start taking feminine men. They're just taking, and they take the innocence of small children. And like I said, they do this in higher societies, and it's a shame. But what's even more of a shame is that in modern day, men are so obsessed, like, simps, like I talked about in a few videos ago, are obsessed with getting women, and they don't really care what kind of women they're getting. They just want to have something to stick their dick in, right? So modern men are ultimately becoming evil to become more attractive to these hurt women. They need to change their own energy, their own internal energy. They need to, like I talked about in my other video, increase their yin energy, increase their feminine energy, their dark feminine energy, to attract these women that are hurt from a small child. And like it says right here, let me go over here. This is increasing their yin energy. Yin is chaos, or if you're familiar with the term entropy, like disorder. And this takes little work. It's very easy to, and that's why, in science they say that the entropy is always increasing, because it's a lot easier to destroy something or make something dark and make something more chaotic than to put order. It takes a lot more energy to put order and put things into order. So, like, for example, if I was to like knock over a whole building, that's really easy. I could, like, take one of those big cranes with those big wrecking balls on it and knock the whole building over. But that's going to take a while to build back up. You see, I can knock it down in a day, but it would take me a year to build it. So, yeah, this is where they go into their moral decay with, the lying, cheating, maybe even stealing, or using women for money, sexual gratification, maybe a place to stay if they don't have a place to live or something like this. But this takes little work. That's why there's no virtue in it. And so instead of that, that's incorrect. This is all incorrect. This is all feminine behavior. This is all incorrect. Don't do that. Instead, what modern men should do is become truly good. And by truly good, I mean being able, like I said, being able to have an evil side, because you can't deal with evil unless you're willing to be evil yourself, especially like in terms of like physical altercations and stuff like this. But modern men should become truly good to have a positive impact on younger girls, and instead of going after these hurt women and not caring about what kind of women that they can attract, instead they should pursue virtuous, mature women that are not hurt or have healed. Which, I mean, that's up to you whether you want to deal with a woman that's had past trauma and healed with it. I mean, that's very, very situational, but the main thing is to have a positive impact on younger girls, and if they have daughters, to obviously not abuse them or abuse other younger girls, and have a godly impact on those girls, not to play with their innocence, which is what these evil men do. And this is ultimately, an increase in yang, increase of order, and I mean, I've heard some people use the term syntropy, which is obviously the opposite of entropy. Increase of order, increase of quality of relationship, and this takes a lot more work to do this. Because first you have to, like I said, you have to be able to be evil, but you have to be able to control it, and you have to control all of your urges to, all of your biological urges to reproduce and get any woman, but to restrict yourself to only pursue virtuous, mature women and have a positive impact on people in general. So yeah, that's something that I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about, but I mean, it's clear as day to me why that's happened. I mean, I've talked to multiple women and I've heard of multiple women that have dealt with these things, and it's never good. And that's another reason why we need to deal with this stuff within our communities. We need to eradicate feminine men, just living for the flesh, because that's ultimately what they do. If their flesh desires something, they have no control over it. This is why you need to go to the gym, you need to fast, you need to study, whatever spiritual texts, and ultimately starve the flesh, because when you have this feminine energy, this anima that desire these things, and you're not capable of having the temperance to, like I said, maybe not going after these hurt women, only pursuing virtuous, mature women. If you don't have that kind of temperance, then you're only going to make things worse for society. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.